Too late. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. We welcome you all to the raw edition of the Black Imams Roundtable, where the Imams are genuine, real, authentic, over the top, never quit, never give up, never run from hard questions and hard answers and hard decisions to make. I welcome you to the Black Imams Roundtable. Jerry Springer ain't got nothing on us. No, I'm just having fun. Don't pay me no attention. Right? But assalamu alaikum. How is everyone doing? Please share. The competition is hot. The ratings are high. And we got to keep this thing going. With that being said, my name is Amin Muhammad, the guy they think he's an Imam. Then you got Imam Genius, who's a real Imam, and the ghetto, inner city legend, Imam of the Boom Bap, Imam Faheem Lee. And guess what? I didn't even have no coffee. So we're going to do this. So today we're going to continue in what we talked about yesterday, which is, not yesterday. See, it all sound the same. Last week on the round table, we were talking about things that trigger us in relationships. And we talked about that guy nobody want to talk about, but everybody keep talking about him. You know, that dude, right? So I wanted today to talk about solutions to really our relationship issues that we have as a people, especially us in our communities. These are real things, right? We go through real relationship challenges, whether they're relationships between the spouses or relationships between genders and different aspects of our interaction in our communities. So as you have these imams who have a wide range of issues that they're confronted with on a daily basis between men and women, married couples, imams, especially in inner city communities, deal with a lot. So what we wanted to do is talk about how do we make our relationship stronger? How do we improve the areas that we are lacking in? And in real practical steps, what do we need to do as a community to build as a collective? So what I wanted to do today is ask my fellow imams. They gave me the permission. And this is not a script. It's going to be raw. All of the issues that we talked about, how do you deal with them when you're confronted with them in your communities? So those same issues we talked about, high value man or high value woman or the right spouse or the right brother, how brothers feel about sisters, how sisters feel about brothers, how people grew up. How do y'all address these issues? And the first one is, first question I want to ask. All of us are married and been married more than once. I told you this is going to be raw, right? With that experience, how did we learn as men from our side? And I'm going to ask the people, attendees, the sisters, what are men looking for? Because you experience, you're a man and you talk to men. What are they looking for in a woman from your observation, from your standpoint? And what have you noticed from talking to many women? What are they looking for in a man? So let's take the first part. As men, what are we from your own side and from what you shared with others looking for in a woman? I'll start there first. And whoever wants to jump and grab the mic and do what you like, hit it.
Okay, I'll go in there. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulihi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsani ila yawmiddin wa ba'd. I'm only jumping in first because I want to leave the best for last with our genius who can follow up, with very eloquent kind of stuff and to clean up our mess. Alhamdulillah, we really appreciate it. But before we get started, we want to remind ourselves, as we, and maybe it's just me, but I find myself still trying to recover from Ramadan and trying to get back in the groove. And I know that we missed a couple sessions, so let's try to get back. So one of the things that we've done, or we always request the people to make a contribution. We call it a door fee, an interest fee. You know what I mean? And to help us keep our platform going, inshallah ta'ala. So please be sure to donate. On the Cash App or the Zelle, whatever platform you use, and put the Black Imams Roundtable in the notes, inshallah. So but I ain't gonna change my vernacular. Let's drop that bread, inshallah. So and also I want to give a shout out to all of you. We really appreciate you as an audience, and I want to give a special shout out to a sister named Zahira Ahmed. Zahira Ahmed, if you're tuning in, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. We got a letter at the Masjid from you today, and it was very heartfelt, and those are the kind of things that really inspires us to keep going, that people are they're feeling us, inshallah. We hope to continue to be a voice that is relevant to the people, inshallah. So please keep us in your du'as. Amin. Now, I done said all that, and I done forgot what the first question was.
The first question is, from your experience, what are men looking for? You as a man and a woman, and from your experience of talking to other brothers, what are men looking for from your experience?
Okay. From my own personal experience, I've always looking for a woman, that was classy, smart, intelligent, sexy, seductive, witty, like as Minister Louis Farrakhan said, get rattle them eggs in the pot in the kitchen, and someone who compliments me, someone that I could talk to, can have a decent conversation with, and someone who is not competing with me, and my experience in over 20 years of counseling, I found that many brothers, the main thing, whenever I counsel a couple, it was always the woman's part was, that he's not doing right by me. And the man's part, 99.9% of the time, was that the way that she talks to him. That was always the concern, because the man never had any issues with the wives most of the part. It was just the way that she expressed herself. And, for the woman's side, it was always the man. He just didn't live up to the expectations, and there were a lot. So, and in my experience is just, brothers are looking for women who are basically, going to, let them lead, let them be men, kind of let them figure it out sometimes. A man has a need to figure things out, and women, and this is the miraculous nature of men and women, because they're inherently different. A man has a need to figure things out, and a woman already has everything figured out. So a lot of times that clashes, and it gets in the way of communication and even intimacy. There's a saying that says, that criticism kills intimacy. And women have a tendency. Now, let me make a disclaimer. This is not a woman bashing session by Black Imams. Don't accuse us of that. And we just having real talk. So women sometimes have a tendency to criticize a man in a way that he doesn't hear it. And then at the same time, they're expecting two-way communication where they want him to be open. But once you criticize a man and you make him feel like that he can't figure things out, you've lost him. You know, and he's not going to, and the thing is, a lot of women, they don't listen to this part. He's not going to be open about it like a woman would be. Like a woman is going to be very open about her feelings. If you hurt her feelings, if you something, she'll tell you. You know, a man is, you know, he's already programmed to suck it in, and he's going to internalize it, and it's going to be repressed, and it might come out in other ways. And sometimes it's ways that he shuts down, or it's ways that he don't want to become close to you, and or he wants to, he's out the house most of the time. He's going to come when it's necessary or whatever the case is. But from my experience, that men are just looking for women to just really understand them and be respectful to them. You know, they say for a man that respect is like oxygen. You know, having respect is like oxygen. It is necessary for him. You know, he don't really need a lot of things from you, but the number one thing that he needs is that for him to respect him and to listen to him and make him feel like he's an authoritative figure, you know, and not to be combative. One of the things that I always, man, is her mouth, man. This is the number one sentence. Man, her mouth, man, she said stuff to me that, you know, I remember one brother said, man, I could have took a pot of hot grits better than what she said to me. I was like, man, who is you, Al Green? Yeah, but he said that. He said, I could have took a pot of hot grits better than the words that she said to me because they crippled me. And I was like, wow. And, you know, of course, you know, words, once they put out there, you can't take them back. So in my experience for what men are looking for a woman is just that soft, that tender touch, a little combativeness, but not too much, knowing when to use it and when not to, you know, because I know, let me say for me, I don't want a woman that's always trying to compete with me, but I don't want her to be like, you know, that I have a salad kind of woman. You know what I mean? I just have a salad. Listen, I hear your stomach growling from over here. I know you better order something. You know what I mean? Don't make me make the order for you. You know what I mean? It ain't that type of party. So, but that kind of a balance, like, you know, a woman who's going to tell you like it is. And one of the things is avoid telling the man that you told him so. You know, this is one thing that we don't like to hear. We sometimes you have to allow men to fall on their face, but women are so particular and meticulous about things. You know, they got everything covered from A to Z, you know what I mean? And sometimes you have to let a man fall on his face. You know, I always think about this ayah in the Quran when the angels came to Ibrahim, alayhi salam, and they was telling the news about, you know, you're going to have a son. And the ayah where his wife, it says she was in the doorway, she was laughing. You know this ayah from the Quran? That she was in the doorway laughing like, how, you know, just ready to be combative. How are we going to have a son? I can't bear children. You're an old man. You know what I mean? So just ready, you know, like not just, you know, in the man's point of view, these angels are coming. This is special news. They know my situation and they come and tell me I'm going to have a son. So in the man's mind, it's like, okay, I'm going with it. But a woman's mind is always second guessing things and how, you know, how are we going to do this? How are we going to get this paid? How is this going to work? How are you going to do this? Well, you know, and sometimes that kills a man's spirit, you know, and in my experience that happens. And, you know, many of the people who counsel, exactly. But women have that, you know, what Allah gave them, that they can see things coming a mile away. That sometimes, but what I'm saying is sometimes you have to let men play the fool so we can see it, because we have egos that have to be stroked. You know, it's just part of being a man. You know, sometimes it's like, God darn it, I got it. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear what you got to say. Let me handle it. Let me quarterback it. I got this. I don't got to figure it out, but I'm going to figure it out in my mind. You already know I'm going to fall on my face. Sometimes you just got to let a man do that, you know, and just be there to pick him up. And then, you know, like the wife of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our mother Khadija, radiallahu anha, you know, then you be there with those soft, comforting words. Allah will never leave you. Look what you do. You know, Allah will never abandon you. You're a good man, you know. And when we hear these stories, you know, sisters be like, good man. It wasn't so good when he was, sometimes you got to avoid that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's a good man, and it's a man that you chose many times. It's the man that you chose. It's with many of his flaws and his caprices and whatever, it's still the man that, you didn't ask for a kula like 20 times and you still like, okay, it went from a kula I want out to, we boo loving and, to it's complicated to, we back together. You know what I mean? So just get through that kind of stuff, but I could talk about this stuff all day, man, because this is, but that's one of the things. A woman that has a feminine touch, but aggressive part, and she knows how to use it and make herself complete a man and not be combative with a man, and along those lines.
Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa afdalu salatu wa atamu tasneem ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een wa radiyallahu ta'ala an saadati tabi'een wa ulama al-amalin wa a'immatul arbatul mujtahideen wa muqallidihim ila yawmiddin. Amma ba'd. Once again, assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. And alhamdulillah, we are grateful that you are joining us in this extremely important and necessary conversation. Now, before I directly answer our beloved Imam's question about, from our experience, what are men looking for in a woman, I have an answer for that. But I want to mention something else before I actually get to that. And this is something that I also notice being an imam and counseling and just watching and trying to have my ear to the street. There is something that Imam Amin speaks about all of the time. And like a lot of times we may call it someone's vibe, someone's energy, someone's language. And he expresses it all of the time. Lisanul hal. Your state is actually speaking. A lot of times we don't realize that. We think speech only comes from our tongue, what we say out of our mouth, right? But we don't realize that our state, the way we are, the way we be, the way we carry ourselves, that is also speaking. And one of the things that I notice that I think is very dangerous, and men and women do it, I think our state, even though most of us, I don't think anybody, especially a conscious Muslim, would actually say this out of their mouths. But I think too many of us, our state is saying that if I'm a man, I'm for men, and I'm really not with the women. The women is a necessary evil. I expect to get pleasure from her, and she expects to get pleasure from me. But really, I'm down with the men. And the women are the same way. The women are like, we get pleasure from men, we get what we need from men, but I'm really about women. It's like a gender war. And I don't know where it came from. It didn't come from the Muslim community, right? But the Muslim community has taken that on. And I see it play out in a lot of different ways. I'll give you an example. A couple comes to me for counseling, right? My job is not to take anyone's side. My job is to rectify and try to help and save the marriage. That's my job. My job is not to take sides, right? So they come with their issue. I try to give advice. If my advice seems like, on from the husband's perspective, if it seems like I agree with the woman, he's going to walk away nine times out of 10 saying, like, yo, what's up? I thought you was a brother. Why you agreeing with the sisters? And my job ain't to agree with either one of y'all. My job is to bring Islah. My job is to rectify your marriage, right? And so you told me some things, she told me some things. I think that you was wrong in that. But a lot of times the husband don't hear that. Husband like, yo, what kind of imam is this? Is he a man or what? He trying to get brownie points with the women? Same thing, same scenario, but in this case, it appears that I agree with the husband. The woman is going to say, oh, he's a misogynist. He be taking a brother. It's a boys' club, right? So in a lot of people's mind, they operating off of the premise that, listen, men are for men and women are for women. We just trying to get some benefit off of each other, but I really don't like you like that. If it wasn't for these needs and desires, I wouldn't even be dealing with you. And we're not saying this with our tongues, but we're saying this with our actions. That's why a lot of times you can't even have conversations with people because you're on the other side. Your job is to manipulate me and to get me to go with your agenda and vice versa. And that's just one example. I see this playing out all the time. I give you another example. One of the things that sticks out to me the most when I'm counseling couples is all of the ayat from Quran and the hadith that have some connection with brotherhood and how we're supposed to treat one another. A lot of times, I have to remind the husband and wife that, you're both Muslim, right? Muslim is a brother of a Muslim, right? Hakul Muslim, the rights of a Muslim are 5 or 6, right? Kulu Muslim, alal Muslim haram. Everything from one Muslim to another is sacred. Damahu, amalahu, eruduhu, his blood, his property, and his honor, right? Brother, your wife's honor is sacred. You're not supposed to violate that. Sister, your husband's honor is sacred. You're not supposed to violate that. Well, he did. Whoa. Wait a minute. Use Quran and Sunnah, right? The Sunnah says his honor, her honor is sacred. Why are you violating that? That stuff flies right over our head when we're talking about husband and wife. We don't get that. We think all the ayat and hadith about brotherhood don't count when it comes to husband and wife. And I find myself more times than I'm comfortable with reminding people of that. Like Imam Faheem just finished talking about, I don't like the way she talk about me. She's dishonoring him. It's in private, but especially if she's doing it in front of people. Talking to your husband like he's a little child. What? Do you know a lot of us come from a time and a place where if another man would talk to me like that, he'd get punched in his face. And so this mindset, men against women, you probably didn't even think, a lot of us probably didn't even think we think this way. But if you really analyze where our position on issues and our relationships, right? You realize it like, yo, I'm really like, yeah, I'm married, and I'm a man, but I'm like really against women. Well, I'm a woman and I'm married, and I say I love my husband and I love men, but I'm really like against men. And a hadith that always comes to my mind, and I think it just crushes this mindset, is narrated by Amr ibn al-As, radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And if you know his history, he fought against Islam for a long time. He played a key role fighting Islam. He was one of the Quraysh that went to Ethiopia. They tried to get the Sahaba back. He did a lot of stuff. And he also did a lot of stuff after becoming Muslim. But he's one of the Sahaba who became Muslim later on. He wasn't an early Sahaba. And he was getting so much love from the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he thought he was real up there. He was high up there in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's like closeness. And so he asked him, Ayu nasa ahabu ilayka, which of the people is most beloved to you? And the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Aisha. He said, Aisha, his wife. Many of us can't say that. Many of us can't say my husband, my wife is the most beloved to me. Too many of us are married, and you say, which one is the most beloved to me? And there's a whole long list of people before you get to your spouse. You mean that there's people that you trust more than the one you lay next to every night, the one that know all your secrets, right? There's a whole list of people that you love more and you are more closer to than that person. To me, that's weird. Then Amr ibn al-As, he said, "Min ar-rijal," like from among the men. I'm not talking about the women, right? Like exclude the women. I'm not talking about the women. And then he said, Abu Bakr. And then Amr ibn al-As said, Thumma man. Then who? He said, Umar ibn al-Khattab. And then he said he went to go on to mention a whole lot of other people, right? But the reason why I quoted and mentioned that hadith is you see that with the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was asked which of the people, Ayunas ahaba ilaik, which of the people are most beloved to you, he said Aisha, my wife. Most of us can't say that. Most of us can't stand our wives, hate our wives. Necessary evil. Wasn't for these desires, wouldn't he be married to you? And the wife is saying the same thing. Where that mindset come from? It didn't come from Islam. It came from the kuffar who tricked us into this gender war in the first place. It came from the kuffar that made it so that we have to have conversations like this. And so I wanted to mention that. That was just inside of me. I had to get that out. So to answer Imam Amin's question more directly, what I've seen, what I experienced, what that men want from women, people that are newly married or not married at all, looking to get married, don't have a lot of experience in marriage. What they want out of a woman is very vague to me, if you ask me. General stuff, what everybody else says. And then they get married, or they get married several times. Now it's like, okay, I've been married and divorced. Now I know what I want because I got experience and I know what I don't want. I know what I don't want. And I say that I see this from observation and also from my own experience. Like me, if you would have asked me what I want in a wife a whole bunch of years ago, I probably be stuck for to give you an answer. I couldn't even give you a list. But after being married several times, right, I know what I don't want. So obviously I want the opposite of that, right? And so, and again, I have to agree with Imam Faheem. Like, one thing I really can't stand is when a woman chops down her man with her tongue. My wife Samira can tell you, we could be watching something and it could be like a real person. Like we was actually watching something. I can't tell y'all what it is because we preparing for our Half Your Dean show, but we was watching something and I'm sitting there getting tight. I'm like, you gonna let her keep talking to him like that? Like, subhanAllah. Like that stuff irks me. That irks a lot of men. It just, some men can tolerate it more than others. Right? I think a woman chopping down her man with her tongue in private is bad enough. Public. And I think this is what in our culture, because women have shark tongue all over the place. It's not just an African American thing. It's not just an American thing. It's all over the place. It happens all over the place. But women in other places, because a lot of times we idealize what femininity is, and we when we say we want someone feminine, right? We usually in our mind have somebody from another culture someplace else, right? And we a lot of times we don't see what goes on behind closed doors, right? But like Imam Faheem said, like and a lot of women when brothers say that when brothers say what we said about the tongue and all that kind of stuff, a lot of times they jump to the other extreme. What do you want? A yes woman? Or like my wife and I always joke, we talk about Coming to America, the first one. Well, what kind of music do you like? Whatever kind of music you like. Well, what kind of food do you like? Whatever kind of food you like. Jump up and down. Right? Do it on one leg.
Bark like a dog.
Like it's hot and cold, right? Either you chop us down with our tongue and we complain about it, and then you say, no, you want a woman like that woman or coming to America. No, how come we can't get in the middle? How come we can't get a woman that expresses her position and her opinion without trying to emasculate you? Because a lot of times it ain't what's being said, it's how it's said. Real man wouldn't have did it like that. Some women is real foul. Last brother I was married to would have never did that. Start comparing you. So, and a lot of women's like, this is how I am. All right, that's how you are. That's how you're gonna stay. How you be there, right? We'll be in the same situation. We gotta compromise, right? We or both sides have to, number one, recognize that we're not each other's enemy. We're supposed to be, working together. We're supposed to be each other's better half. And in order to make our relationships work, we have to, be able to communicate those things we like and dislike. And what Imam Faheem said, you hear from too many people. Sometimes, and a lot of men don't know how to handle that. A lot of men are emotionally immature. They can't take that sharp tongue. And they say, oh, I can't beat you with the tongue. I'm gonna punch you in your face. Oh, he's a punk. He ain't a man. He hit a woman in the mouth. He's wrong. Yeah, he's wrong. Some men like, you know what? You got that. I'm just walking away. Why are you walking away? You can't deal with this reality. Like, why you walk away like a little boy? Come here and talk, right? Like, listen, I ain't got too much left in me. I can't beat you with the tongue. I got this though, right? So I'm just going to walk away, right? So, and so that's what I wanted to mention. That so again, to answer Imam Amin's question, from my observation, a lot of times, a lot of men can't really articulate what they want. Is that when they get married and have some experience, they can tell you what they don't want. But the sad part about it is a lot of times, and this goes both ways for men and women, when they know what they don't want, when they get married again, they marry another sister or another brother with that same characteristic that they don't want. Right? So, Allahu Akbar.
MashaAllah, that was a lot of food to chew on. So let me go, because I have some questions on the first one part. I have some questions about that. But let me go to the second aspect of the question, which is equal, not one, another. We just answered one first. So from your experiences, because you talk to a lot of women, and all of us have been the wakil or the wali of some sister, even if it's only for 5 minutes. I think some of us been the same wakil for the same woman in one gathering, right? Yo, what? I like you, Imam. No, I don't like you anymore. Hey, Imam Naeem, you want to be my wali? Hey, no, what? Imam Faheem, you want to be my wali? Forget all of y'all. Yo, brother, hook it up, right? So we've had this experience. I'm joking. I'm seriously joking, but
I ain't joking. That's real.
I know, but the way I'm saying it, right? What are you talking about? Yeah, I know, right? That's what we were saying. Yo, did you know so-and-so was a wali? No, I thought I was a wali. No, I thought I was a wali too. But all right, with all jokes aside, we got to have some fun here, right? What, from your experience, do the women want? Right? Because you talk to a lot of women. I know I do. Different sisters. So from your experience, you got what the man want, okay? And even if he wants what he know he don't want, and he hasn't defined well what he wants, but he definitely know what he don't want, right? What about the woman? Imam Faheem?
Woo! I think I always like this quote. This is by Bill Cosby. I know he's not popular these days, but he says something that's very profound. He said that women don't care about what you think. They care about what they think. You know what I mean? But they just want to hear it in a deeper voice. So in other words, what women want, they want a lot of stuff from a man, and sometimes I can't say that he can't deliver, but it's like it changes, because at one time, it's like some of the stuff Imam Naeem was mentioning, like, sometimes they want you to act like a man, and sometimes they want you to be gentle, and sometimes they want you to be rough, and sometimes they want you to be quiet, and sometimes they want you to respond, and then sometimes, why ain't you listening? And then why ain't you talking? And then when you start talking, nigga, shut up, So it's a array of things that they want, but mostly, from my experience, they're looking for really just like comfort, like protection, and they're looking for someone to, they want a man to do right by them. They want a man to just do right by them and this is where the conflict comes in, because it's according to how they feel. They want a man to do right by them according to how they feel. And sometimes a man, like Imam Naeem was saying, he's not emotionally mature enough to know what that means, and this is where you have to really work together, because, sometimes, women, they'll say things and they just expect you to read their mind. Like you're supposed to know what it's like, Like I had no idea that's what you wanted me to do. You didn't leave enough hints, but in your mind, you had the scenario played all out. It was real perfect. It was a storybook ending. And I had no idea. You know what I'm saying? So some of those things just, as one sister saying, the emotional connection is very important. And, and sometimes men, when it is like a combativeness kind of thing there, they shy away from, letting their emotions show, so that takes time and that takes effort, that takes chemistry, but a woman just wants to be loved. And most of the thing, she wants to be heard and she wants to be valued. She wants to be heard and she wants to be valued. So one of the things that, you have to listen. You have to listen to a woman. That's one main thing. And sometimes you'll hear them say it. Listen, would you listen? Would you listen to me? Just listen, and not just listen, but you got to look, and your whole body language got to show like that you're attentive and that you really care about what they're saying, paying attention, to little details. They want, little details. And one thing that I learned that with our women, that they want to be swept off their feet, but they don't want to move out of their spot. They want to be swept off their feet, but still stand their ground. This is a big thing with our women. And we have to learn how to finesse them like that, to sweep them off their feet while letting them still stand their ground, because they're going to stand their ground no matter what. You know what I mean? So really just listening, and just being sensitive to her needs and her wants and her desires, and just really making her feel valued and worth something. Because there's a certain time where a woman, if she reaches a certain level, they start to second guess themselves. They start to think about their beauty, especially if they have children. Will there still be a relationship after the children are gone, or the children are growing up, and your priority is not really the children, now it's you two that you have to pay attention to. You know what I'm saying? So those kind of things. It's a whole book. Y'all seen the memes. What men want is like a half a page, and what women want is like an encyclopedia. So it varies, and men have to understand that it varies. And it's at different levels at different times. For a woman. And you just have to understand that, and you have to be sensitive, and you have to be able to adapt. It's not like us. For most times, from at least in my experience, men, it's simple. You give them a good meal, some good intimacy, and a lot of respect, and he's cool. But, a woman, she got to, if she call you at the time and she need to talk to you, you got to stop what you're doing and listen. It ain't like us, if you call your wife, yeah, I'm in the middle of this, okay, I'll call you back. But if a woman call you, sometimes, you probably had this experience. Your wife call you, don't even ask you how you doing, and just start going on a rant about something that she needs to get off her time off her chest at that time. And then you just have to be like, okay, you can't, no, sweetie, I'll call you back. No, you got to listen right now. So it's a lot of things that they want. And part of being a husband is just really identifying knowing the things that they want and what they need, and really just catering to them, inshallah.
I think, to answer your question, and I think a few women have actually typed it in the chat box. I think that, from my observation, what women are looking for in a husband, I think, can be really put into one word, in as well as its synonyms: safety, security, protection. And it's not always physical. Like, a lot of times, a lot of marriages hit a rough patch, or even fail or dissolve, for example, when there's money issues. Safety took away her security. She don't know where the next meal, the next uh, rent check is going to come from. A lot of times, also safety and security. A woman likes a man to be intelligent, able to express himself. Not only just, of course, we're Muslim about the deen, yes, but also about other things, right? It's intellectual security, safety, right? Uh, Emotional safety and security, right? She's allowed to feel how she feels and express those feelings, and not feel like, you know, her emotion is triggering or uh, threatening me, right? The man and the husband. So I think all of these things deal with, and the ayat is in floating around in my mind. Al rijal qawwamuna ala nisa. The men are the kawama, the protectors, maintainers, sustainers, safety, security, support, right, of the women. And so uh, I think that when uh, safety is there, security is there, real or imagined, right, then you're giving the woman what they want. Like, a lot of times, this feeling of safety from the woman, a lot of times is misplaced. Like, I'm pretty sure most of us know uh, women who tend to marry abusive men, physically abusive men. A lot of times, because they interpret that uh, aggression, right, a lot of times, as security before they actually get into the marriage, and then recognize they need security from the one who they thought was going to provide them security. Uh, so yeah, and just looking through the comments, I think the sisters will agree. But a lot of times, uh, sisters, because of early experiences and how we were raised, a lot of times a lot of women mistake the type of man who will give them security for example, the term everybody likes to throw around now, a narcissist, right? Where, you know, the, the person, a narcissist, is by definition someone that overcompensates, right? He always has to, you know, uh, have the last word. He always has to, be better than everyone else, like this, right? And so a lot of times sisters misread that type of attitude for, I feel safe around him. He's extra masculine, or he has to. But then they get into the relationship like, whoa, I didn't sign up for all of this, man. Right? But so yeah, I think that's if I were to summarize what women are looking for, is that safety and security in all aspects of the relationship. And I think for me, a proof of that is that a lot of times, if a woman is made to feel safe in the marriage, she will tolerate a lot of things that she won't tolerate if that safety is not there. Like, for example, you bring up the topic of polygyny, right? A lot of women will tolerate it, right? But some women won't tolerate it or will be less tolerant of it if it makes her feel less secure. Oh, you gonna love her more than you love me. Or wait a minute, you ain't even built like that financially. How you gonna take care of all of us, right? You brought up polygamy, you just made her feel insecure, right? And you arguing about Allah gave me the right. He says it's halal. You don't recognize what's going on. You just took away her security. So I think once again, security, safety, and all of those things.
It's very difficult to be fully honest when your wife looking you right in the face. Go ahead, I dare you. I dare you. Go ahead, try to be original if you want. I'm gonna be original. Where that comment at? That sister said we can talk. Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? Find it. It ain't lost. Find that comment. Where is that at? Here she go. Did you see that comment? See, even hit the comment. I'm sorry, there was a good comment there I wanted to share. Anyway, I think it's very important. And sisters, I'm trying to help here, right? There you go. Bam! Right? Express yourself, brothers. Let us know how you feel, good and not so good. I think that's important because
you know why I'm laughing? Because that dude whose name we ain't gonna mention did that, and y'all hate his guts.
Right. But here's the catch. I think, and sisters, you can tell me, and this is from talking, I gather something. Women want, especially Muslim women, especially African-American Muslim women, they want a gentleman with sensitivity. 2 words in our culture that has been destroyed in Black men.
Our Ralph Tresvant came to my mind where you
said, dang, man, you took that stuff. I was trying to sound good.
Who was you? New Edition?
Right. But honestly, that's what they're looking for. They want a stone cold gentleman and a man with sensitivity. The problem is we have lost that in our culture. So if you ask the average brother, especially the Muslim brother, what is a gentleman? He has no clue. In fact, being a gentleman is sometimes too soft in our minds. And then when you add a gentleman with sensitivity, what the heck does that mean? So I think one of the things, I'll give you an example. You will find a lot of brothers who won't open the door for their wife because they think they're soft. Mentally, they didn't say it. In their mind, I ain't no simp. That's the new word I guess they use. That's some soft stuff. I'm not opening the door. But that's being a gentleman. That's honoring your wife or a female. But a lot of people mentally, they can't see it, right? So the woman wants that. Give it a try, brothers. I know it's going to be difficult. Open the door for your spouse or your daughters, right? Open the door.
Y'all don't remember the song we made? The Temptation? Treat her like a lady.
No. So it's getting warmed up. Khadijah, I'm going to answer that one, right?
You know what's deep about what you just said? At least on social media, where everybody can see each other's comments, when women, especially single women, when those men that project, whether it's reality or not, project those type of things that you're talking about, they be single the longest, right? Right? They hardly never get married, right?
But no, here's my point. Sensitivity. So that's the gentleman part. Like, go give them flowers. I say this to every man, and it's difficult. Whatever you did to get that woman, you got to maintain it through the life of your marriage. And you know us, when we on the hunt, we the best gentlemen you can find. When you on the hunt, you the gentleman do, you the flowers coming, the compliments, everything's flowing. Once you capture, all that slowly dwindles away. That's a mistake. That's not being a gentleman, right? So that I'm talking about the gentleman side of that. All those things that you did to catch her, you got to keep them things coming. That's difficult. I'm not saying it's easy. Especially at that point, you struggling against all of your desires so you can get that woman. You're struggling against all your desires, your laziness, your insensitivity, all that stuff. You doing serious jihad on nafs to get this woman, right?
Got her on notifications as soon as she posts, "Good morning, Facebook family." It sure is a good morning now that you posted.
Grand Rising, Queen.
I asked myself this today. Seriously, I did. I asked myself today. I'm going to drop a little tea, right? Because I do check myself with it. I would talk to a spouse, a wife, when we first get married, almost every day, hours a day. And then after years, you don't see that, and you start to wonder, damn, what was we talking about? You know that feeling? What we used to be talking about for so long, right? You was on the hunt. You was chasing. Your gentleman was on display. You were sensitive to stuff probably you didn't even want to listen to. Because you was trying to get her, no matter what she said, you was listening. Oh, I had a rough day at work. Really? MashaAllah.
What happened, baby?
She said that to you for real? How did she say it?
That sensitive element you had at one time, right? And I think we need to revive that. So teaching men how to be gentlemen, what that looks like, and how to be sensitive to the women, right? And when I mean be sensitive, because they're not the same as us, right? So I think that's something that we have to revive in ourselves. Listen, let me be gentle to you, sister. Women are not hard like men. Even if they pretend to be hard, they're not. A sister said to me, probably was the best advice a crumbling couple had, a wife gave me about her husband. I told her sister, I said, yo, your husband says you talk too much and your mouth is off the chain, right? And she said something to me I never thought about. She said, that's all I got is my mouth. What else can I use? And that was deep to me. She said, Imam, that's all I got is my mouth. What else can I use? And the man needs to recognize that she don't have anything else. So if you push her by being insensitive, lacking being a gentleman, that's what you're gonna get, because that's all she has. That's her last line of defense. And you know what the dalil of that? You want the evidence for that? Was she talking like that to you when y'all first got together? Probably not, because you wouldn't have married her. If she just jumped out there, blah, 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 you wouldn't have married her. So there was something you were doing that controlled that. And when that start coming out, you've left that off. For yourself, as a man, you should know that. Because she wasn't talking like that when I married her, so I did something wrong. And a lot of times in the relationship, both parties fail to admit where I'm doing something wrong, or I'm neglecting that thing I caught that person with, right? And let me answer Sister Khadijah, my elder's question. I'm totally not a sensitive dude at all, right? But I try my best to stick within the sacred law to the best of my ability. So when I'm out of pocket, I'll eventually come back to where I need to be. That's how I make it work, right? I can be out of pocket. I can be insensitive, but I know that's not lawful. So when I start to see that I'm contradicting the sacred law, I try to push myself back. That's how I come over my insensitivity. Because personally, I don't have all that. It's a struggle, right? But what is the balance for that? The sacred law, right? I always have to look for my spouse. What am I doing to harm her? Right? I have to do that because my nature is very aggressive. So I'm going to harm just by my nature. So I have to be quick to pull myself in by the reins of the sacred law, right? Even if my nafs can't do it, the sacred law got to pull me in. And that's when following Quran and Sunnah has to kick in. So I wasn't running from your question. Now,
it's just like you remember the movie.
They say he's full of crap. Right?
Yeah. remember the movie Hoodlum when Bobby Johnson was kicking out the crib. You used to write me poetry, Ellsworth. Yeah. Well, now I'm kicking you out.
Hussein wants us to answer his question. I think it might be the one that's in a private chat.
Hussein's question, I can tell you what it is. Man, a woman abused me. What about me? Right now. Hussein, I'm just messing with you. Hussein is a wounded warrior. Sisters, be careful about how you ruin good men with those unbefitting traits. Go ahead, Hussein. I'm always messing with Hussein so I can get his attention. No, that's what he said. You see his comment?
It says,
Imams, go ahead.
Imams, I feel there's so much emphasis placed on the woman being happy and satisfied, and the man going out his way to do that, and the man just takes what his wife gives him, as they say, happy wife, happy life. Is this a double standard, or am I mistaken? I ask this respectfully with no intent or gender war.
Can I tap into that just 1 second?
Boy, you mistaken.
What I would say this, we have to have gender roles, right? The man normally is much more stronger than the woman. And in saying that, her happiness for him should be over his happiness. It should be, because he should be able to endure more than her. That's from his side. I'm not talking about from her side. I'm talking about from his side. You should be able to take more than your wife. You should be, normally, right? So from that side, her happiness should be more important to you than your own because you're able to deal more with the difficulty of things. You should be normally. I'm not saying everyone's the same, but just normally, you should be able to take a little bit more. So I don't think it's a double standard. I don't think we are emotionally equal as men and women, right? So therefore, if you only can take what your wife can take, there should be some improvement in your emotional strength. It shouldn't be the same, right? So I think that, but I know we're in a society that try to make everything equal, and we're not equal, right? We have a duty to maintain women. Like, I give you one that bothers me. I'm going to give you this. I was talking to some brothers. I'm not going to mention y'all. No, I'm not going to say who y'all were. And they're like, uh-oh, here he go. So we were talking about sisters that can't find husbands. I know a bunch of women who cannot find husbands, right? So I'm putting that out there, brothers. If you're a good man, with a gentleman, with some sensitivity and a job, highlight job, you got to have a job, some kind of way to earn, right? There are a lot of sisters looking for you. They got all points bulletin out on you, right? But I was talking to these brothers, and I said, the sister only wants $1,000 a month to help. They're pretty much good. They got their money. They just want $1,000 to help. You know, them brothers told me, why she need all that? No, for real, I was floored. And I said to the brothers, I said, say that again. And it was more than one. They said, why she need all that money? I said, do you know it's a responsibility of the man to maintain and provide for the woman? That's an obligation in the religion. If she takes less than that from her side, this is sadaqah to you. Where do you get off? Does she deserve it? The religion says she deserves that. Minimum, especially in our society. You got to pay the bills, right? And if she helps you with that, she's helping you. And that's a good woman because she don't have to do that. So we've reduced ourselves to women like 50-50. Come on, bro. If it's 50-50, take that as my wife is really a good woman. She's helping me. And you should be building something with that 50 she's giving you. Not that's a ticket to do nothing. That means she's giving you support. What are you building with that? So I think that's something that we got to work on as brothers so that we can build up our sisters. And I'm just saying that to his question, right? Don't expect you to be treated like a woman. You're not a woman, you're a man, right? That doesn't mean you're not got emotions and you don't get hurt, but you should be able to take a little more, right? You should be able to take a little bit more. That's just my opinion.
Men, men are the protectors in the relationship. I mean, just look at it. Like when somebody's the protector or the bodyguard or whatever, when harm comes, they get hit first, right? Even marriage or chastity or being chaste is Arabic is muhsin, right? Like that little dua book that became famous, Hisnu Muslim, the fortress of the Muslim, the fortress, right? That thing that protects, the thing that keeps certain things in and keeps other things out. You're the barrier. You are the protection, right? Us men, we are the protection. Us, Allah building us like that means that, you know, we take beatings. When you're protecting when you holding down the fort, as we say, when you're the barrier, when you're the perimeter, a lot of times, you know, you got people that's on the inside I hope you're following the parable, right? You got people that's on the inside that want to get out and they're not supposed to be out. You got to keep them in. You got people that's on the outside that want to get in. They're not supposed to be in. You got to keep them out. And sometimes they try to move past you. You're the barrier. You're the one who has to stop all of that. And I think that a lot of times we forget that that's our role. That's our job. We're like the security guard, right? Of anything, of a building, a store, an event. The man is a security guard in a relationship. He's a security guard with not only the wife, but with the children. Sometimes children want to do whatever they want to do. It is your job to stop them when it's going to be harmful to them, even if they don't see the harm themselves. Sometimes they're going to hate you for that. Sometimes they're going to, try to, they may say things or they may try to do things. It's going to hurt you. That, why don't they see that I'm doing this for their own good, right? But normally this is how we are built. This is how we are supposed to be built. And so that's my answer to the question, but for me, like, also there's a flip side to that, because if I feel that the respect is gone, if I feel that, I can't make you happy, then right, I have a choice to make. And the choice that I always ask myself, can I live the rest of my life like this? And if the answer is no, I'm out. Right. So, we have a choice. I don't recommend it. That you, always run to divorce. Divorce should always be the last thing, but it's there for a reason. It's guidelines in the Sharia of how to do it and how not to do it for a reason. Sometimes people aren't meant to be together. Sometimes you exhausted all of the remedies, and sometimes you have to get out of the marriage. So, that's my advice and answer to that question.
Hadith I always use when I marry couples was where the Prophet ﷺ, he was addressing the men. He said, "Kullukum ra'un wa kullukum mas'ulun an ra'iyati." That each one of you are a shepherd, and you will be asked about, what you're a shepherd over, what you're responsible for. And in a couple of different variations of the hadith, I don't remember saying that the woman is going to be asked about her responsibility, even though it stresses that she is responsible for the family, right? And then at the end of another part of it says, the Prophet ﷺ repeats it, wa kulukum, meaning the men, wa kulukum ra'un, wa kulukum mas'ulun al ra'iyati. We're going to be asked about this. So men have a bigger responsibility, that we're going to be questioned about us taking on the responsibility of providing for the family and enduring the women's, emotional states and all of these kind of things. The bulk of it is on us, and we already pre-wired to take a bulk of it. You know what I'm saying? And in a successful marriage or some type of success, that a man has to be able to endure a lot and find his happiness in serving his wife and serving his family. Part of your happiness has to be there, and it's not going to be equal. Remember, men and women are equal, but not identical. We're equal, but not identical. And if we're looking for identical type of, things from each other, okay, I did this for you, and so I should have this done for me, you're going to lose. No. Like one brother told me one time, he said, you don't meet a woman 50-50. You go 100, and whatever she can't cover, you cover the rest. It's 50-50. It's not 50-50. It's 100-100. And if she can't cover her 100 part, you make up her part. Like, you just have a big responsibility as a man to take care of all of this stuff. And Allah has already endured you with, he has given you the gift of endurance, the gift of stamina, the gift of, seeing the bigger picture, the gift of getting through things, the gift of, being able to get through all the difficult times, the gift of, navigating the ship, man. And you just have to do it. Sometimes it hurts. As a man, as a husband, sometimes you got to go through things, and your happiness is the last thing that you're going to get out the deal. That's just how it is, man. And Once you own that, you know, but you'll find happiness is when your wife is happy, you know, and then she tells you, and your children are, you know, grateful for the things you've done. And it won't be like that all the time. But there's things you've been over backwards for your family. I'm like, damn, I ain't even get a thank you. But you take it on the chin, man. You're not gonna get a thank you, but you're doing it for a bigger purpose because you're doing it because you know that you're going to be questioned about this on Yom Kippur. And with that hovering over your head, okay, I'm gonna take care of everything. I might not get what I put out, you know. And sometimes you have to lower the expectations. And then, but women are pre-wired to follow your lead. If you're taking all the tasks, you're taking the responsibility, she's going to meet you more than halfway. When you got a woman, she's going to meet you way more than halfway. She's going to compliment you in ways that you never even saw coming. She's going to be able to pick you up when you're down, man, you know. But you got to endure the storms, and you got to show her, as Imam Naim and Imam Amin was mentioning, that you're going to stick in there through thick and thin. You're not going to bail at the first sign of danger. You're not going to go argue with her tit for tat. You're not going to, knowing that she is going to have the last word no matter what. I don't care what in your mind that you think you're going to outwit a woman and outtalk her. She's going to get the last word. And if she doesn't get the last word, she's going to say something to you that make you feel like you never said anything to begin with. So get that out your mind. You know what I'm saying? Just go ahead and be in service. And, you know, at some point, you know, a lot of it is just, yeah, alhamdulillah. That should be your biggest phrase. Yes, honey, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, mashallah. She start going off on a tangent, mashallah, alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. This is the best speech. You know what I mean? So, and this is the stuff that you got to learn, you know, and if you want a long-term marriage, and I'm just saying, like, you know, matter of fact, this weekend, it'd be my 24th year being married, you know. And like Imam Naim said, we've been married multiple times. You know, I've been married 3 times, and I'm still in my second marriage. I've been married 3 times, and I'm still in my second marriage. I don't know if you caught that or not, but, you know, but I've learned, you know, you just got to endure it. And men, we are pre-wired to do that. You got to take a lot on your shoulders. That's why your shoulders are broad. You know what I mean? You have to take this stuff on. You have to find happiness. You got to navigate the ship, you know. And when a woman see you driving that ship, she's going to make sure that everything that you need there, you know. And every once in a while, she'll try to tell you to turn left or right or steer it this way, or you're not doing it right. But just take hold of the ship. And after a while, it'll subside because she know you're going to get her, because you got the confidence to make sure y'all get to safe land. You know what I'm saying? So really, man, brothers, there's a lot we got to take. There's a lot we got to eat. There's a lot we got to, you know, sometimes in the marriage, sometimes your purpose is just to get dumped on with words. Sometimes it's all dumped on you. You know, you be like, man, what did I do? You went to work. I mean, they got your, you know, your good white voice. Hey, how are you? How's everything? You talk to me, it's like, man, what did I do? I'm your partner. You know what I mean? Talk to me give me that white voice. I don't get the white voice. You know what I mean?
I want the white voice.
Yeah, I want the white voice. Hey, how are you, baby? How's everything? How was your day? I'm so happy to see you. Yeah. So, but yeah, man, you know, we're pre-wired to take that stuff in and just own it, man, you know, because in the ma'al usri yusra, after difficulty, there's ease, you know, so.
Hey, your lights went out again, Imam Faheem.
Yeah, I got a sensor. I don't know how to change it. So, yeah, our bill is paid up, so I don't want to hear nothing about from nobody, you know. But the sensor's ready. Why, you know, all this stuff I done said, why is it so dark over there? Why we can't always complain about something?
But I want to say something, because sometimes I know I could be a little insensitive in my jokes, right? And a lot of brothers are hurt, right? And sisters, serious advice, right? Be careful how you tear down your man. Be careful with that. Because when you do that, you're working against yourself and you may not realize it. Right? Be careful how you tear down. And I understand you want to strike back with the tongue because that's all you have. I got it. But there's a backdrop that you may be missing. If you tear him down, he's never going to be what you want. If you tear him down, he's never going to be what you want. If you look at Khadija radiyallahu ta'ala anha, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam received revelation, the first person he went to was who? His wife, Khadija. And I want you to pay something to the secret of Khadija, which is a lesson for all women. She told him, you do this, you do that, you do this. Allah will never, 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 never let you down. Subhanallah, that was wise. At his moment where he's feeling some concern, she built him up. She talked about his merits and said, because of these merits, Allah has something special for you. And that was an additional, because this is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's already a man. He's the best of men. But she was wise enough to build him up. Even though he doesn't need any building up, he's Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But she was wise enough to build him up. Right? So that's as an advice. Yes, he should be able to endure the traces of your pain. But just be careful that you don't destroy. One of the biggest reasons why men cheat, now I'm giving you from a man, not just Muslim men, because, we get this false concept of, we Muslim and life has changed. No, we're the same people in the same circumstances and we have shahada, but we're facing the same stuff. Many men cheat because they're broken at home. Be careful. Many men cheat because they're broken at home. Some of them got knife issues too, but a lot of it is they're broken at home. They just didn't tell you.
That other woman makes him feel like a man, quote unquote.
In all kinds of ways. No, I'm being honest. See, I'm giving you something that a man just not going to tell you. Right? Many men look for another wife, even though they can't afford it, even because they want someone to make them feel better about themselves. A lot of times. Not every time. I said a lot of times. So I'm talking in general. I'm not talking specific. Some dudes are just no damn good. That's true. Not everybody's like that. Right? So, and as imams, we be talking to people. So we get the inside stuff. So keep in your mind while you're lashing out, and we already told him what he needs to do, right? From your side, watch how you make him feel. Because that I see it a lot. I don't know who was I listening to. Whether it's a weak excuse or not, Khadijah, is real. Now, I didn't say it was strong or weak. It's real. Right? Whether it's weak or it could be a lot of lame excuses why people do stuff, but it's real.
Yeah.
Wait, let me give you an example.
No, wait a minute, man. No, say go ahead.
Dang, Imam, I'm on the road.
No, I know. Go. I'll just mess with you.
Me and Khadijah's matching wits.
You're gonna lose.
And you know I love it, right?
Yeah.
Because I ain't weak. Let's do it, right? So, here's what I mean. A lot of men who had women who cheated on them. I know Muslim women who cheat on their husband. Do you, Imam Naeem? Imam Faheem, have you experienced that?
Yep.
So let's keep it real here. It has went both ways. But if you find out why those women cheated on their husband, a lot of it was what they were looking for in a gentleman and sensitivity and time that man was neglecting somehow. And off she went. At the job, you know, she was feeling something and some kafir dude was talking slick to her and she was wounded at home and bam, she ended up in his bed.
I don't want to interrupt your flow, but you said what I wanted to interject. And that's what Shaitan does. That moment where you just had it with your wife or your husband and you ain't feeling so good at home, like for example, if you're a man and your wife just chopped you down with that tongue, you go to work mad, that's when Shaitan will send that woman at work or on the way to work or wherever you be at with that soft voice, bringing you lunch or whatever they do. That's when it happens. Shaitan's like, this is the opportunity right here.
Yeah.
Boom. Right?
And the root of all of that is home. Go ahead, Imam Faheem.
What is a beautiful woman like you doing on the island crying?
If I was your husband, I would be making love to you constantly.
That's the same time. So, you know, I'm just going to go to the island with my girlfriends.
So I'm just saying, whether it's weak or not, it's real, right? Even if your excuse is bad, it's still your excuse, right? So don't give those excuses. Make your home a place where your spouse want to come, right? Make your home where your spouse want to come. And for the men, that's for the women, in terms of the man. And for the man, make your wife feel like her home is her castle. She runs what's behind that door. You take outside. Inside, give her the kingdom. And that's what they mean, happy wife, happy life. Right? I'm just giving you advice. This is stuff we see all the time. Right? This ain't something we're just talking about.
Well, you know, sometimes I'm look to some of these comments, and I think one time that when it's matters of the heart, sometimes logic goes out the window, you know, and you have to keep that in mind because, you know, sometimes we think like, you know, logically a person was supposed to do this or why did they do this, you know, like you're saying, but this stuff happens, you know, and Shaitan will manipulate your logic when your nafs are involved, you know, and you know, I've seen situations, you know, it was just bad. It was a disaster. But looking at it from all of the context, it kind of made all the sense in the world. You know what I mean? You know, like this woman, you know, She had no idea. I mean, I'm talking about a situation woman and realized she was bashing the man, pushing him away, never allowing him to talk, although all she wanted was communication. When he tried to talk, he didn't say the right thing. And the next thing you know, the other woman was the one who listened, didn't say anything, and made him feel like, listen, you remember Superman, right? Superman wasn't in love with Wonder Woman. He was in love with Lois Lane. Lois Lane was a regular Jane that worked at the Daily Planet. She wasn't that pretty. She didn't really just dress provocative, but she had Superman flying around the world and coming back to find her. And why? Because she stroked his ego. She made that man feel like he could go conquer the universe, you know?
Man, he spun the earth backwards to bring her back to life.
He spun the earth backwards to bring her back to life. You know what I mean? And she wasn't even that hot looking. She looked like she lived in the trailer park. You know what I mean? And you seen Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was voluptuous. She got gold bracelets that block bullets and, you know what I mean, colorful stuff, you know what I mean? And Superman wasn't even,
Imam is this dude over here.
And Superman wasn't even checking for her. You know what I mean? And they do, I know in the comics that they had a brief fling, Superman and Wonder Woman, but it didn't last. But Lois Lane had that boy spinning. So you better be Lois Lane.
Hey, you know, I say this to a lot of us, right?
I just want to respond to Khadijah. I don't think anybody's saying that is an excuse to cheat. Cheating is haram, right? I think like sometimes people don't understand what's being said.
I think sometimes we act like we ain't living what we see all the time.
Yeah.
Like, let me tell y'all something about the Black Imams Roundtable if you don't know. We're real people. I can sit here all day. Y'all come to class. I could be Sheikh, Sufi. I could do that all day. That's not the purpose of the Black Imams Roundtable, right? Go over books. That's not what we're dealing with right here. We're dealing with real stuff. Like, you know, the sister and the brother, each of us know ourselves. We talk like we all righteous and pious. And we be like looking at you, to my imams, would you knock it off? Right?
Cut it out.
You know exactly what we're talking about. Yeah, you, right? Right? You know exactly what I'm saying. Cut it out, right? That's us. This is for no pretending. That's why we say the craziest stuff. You be like, he just said that, ain't he the imam? Yeah. Because I hear what you really saying. I hear what you really talking about. You know, and so, yeah, we do. We know the deen and we know the rules, right? But also we know what's on the ground, what's really happening. And it ain't the deen and it ain't the rules, right? Right? So, ain't none of us there, Khadijah, I share with you. Ain't none of us there. And listen,
I want to know where these people at, because she said what we are now, right? We're talking about where we are now.
Right.
Where are these people that she's talking about? Where they at?
No, here's what I mean. That's called an idealistic approach to life and a practical approach to life, right? While we strive, we can't forget reality. Listen, men are the maintainers of women, right? I'm going to ask the sisters, how many men are not even close to maintaining women? That's the Quran. Imam Naeem mentioned it. I'm going to ask the sisters, y'all right here. Men are the maintainers of women. I'm going to ask the sisters, how many men are not even close to maintaining the women? That's real. The wife is supposed to be obedient, obey her husband. How many women hear the word of obey, and to them that's almost haram? Listen to what I said. How many women hear the word obey and think a crime has been said? Obey? I ain't obeying nobody.
Submissive.
You better go get you a dog if you Maliki.
So the reality is, don't tell me about Islam, because both of those, for the man, that's Islam, and for the women, that's Islam. And a lot of us are repelled by those concepts. A'udhu billah. We're repelled by the concept. We're repelled by the concept. I got to obey my husband. Yes. Yeah, that's just what they think. Then they say old bay. Yeah. But here's my thing. So for us, we have no concept of the Islamic roles of marriage in practice, in general. We're not speaking specifics. Now, when I say in general, remember, we live this stuff every day. One of the biggest things we're struggling with is men not providing and women not being obedient. That's one of the biggest struggles in our marriages, in our communities. Men don't provide in general, too many, and women, they don't obey their husbands at all. Which is totally backwards in Islam, right? So that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the theory. Yes, we all know the theory. I'm talking about what's really happening, right? We've reached a point where women, they compete with men in how many men they've been with, and our degradation as a people. You ever listen to the radio? Like women, like a guy I had 10, 11, 20, 30 girls, and the guy and the woman is like, I had 10, 20 men. You can do it, I can too. And that's an honor. Think about this stuff. So, I mean, that's really happening. And if we're so good, I had a sister say to me, I never forget this. She never committed zina, according to her. And I take her word, right? But literally, she had about, and I might be underestimating, she had about 15 husbands. 15, 1-5. And she said to me, I'd rather have 100 husbands than commit one act of zina. I said, and you proud of that? You never stop to say, why I've been with 15 different men? What the heck is wrong with this picture? You didn't see anything wrong with that. You said, as if that was an honorable thing, right? What's wrong with this mindset? Yes, you didn't do anything haram. I agree. But what the heck are you thinking about? Where's your honor as a woman? Where's your honor? Right? And maybe, just a thought, that's why you have 15 different husbands. Maybe that's why you have 15 husbands. And if that ever becomes, for the men too, that you keep having wives and your marriages are not working, and women become dispensable, which always said they don't want to be. You running through women. What are you doing wrong? Did you ever stop? It's halal. Yes, I've been married. Halal, alhamdulillah. Why you can't make a marriage work? What's going on? And these are serious things that we got to talk about. Right? Because when we talk about responsibility and we talk about, the deen, this stuff is horrible. To they having shows like on the Dope Muslim Woman podcast, why I don't want to get married. Who the hell want to get married looking at all this stuff? If that's what marriage looks like. Why would someone want to get married looking at that? So for us, I think we got to be honest. I think we got to be honest and stop talking about the idea we would like to see and deal with the practical reality that we're facing. I mean, that's my honest opinion. And we got to keep it real. We don't even tell the horror stories that we've seen as imams in this issue. We don't even talk about it. Like the horror stories we've seen. Go ahead, Imam.
Yeah, one thing I noticed, Imam, I've heard in my experiences that a lot of women, they just want, men to lead and they want them to listen. One of the things that I found is that men are really inclined to give in to the whims of a woman a lot of times, even sometimes when it's some haram involved, just to try to make her happy. And I think one of the things that women have to learn is how to channel this energy to make the man do what you need him to do without him feeling like he's being criticized. That's a big part. I remember, I counseled a couple couples, and I remember, it was a situation where a brother, like, it was just toxic. But I remember him saying stuff like, man, I do whatever for, I would even go to the liquor store, to get her stuff or go buy her cigarettes, because in his mind, he was just trying to make her happy, even at the expense of doing haram, you know what I mean? And I found this in a lot of men, they really try, even where they lack being emotional, having an emotional attachment, they try to do in their works and trying to serve a woman, and sometimes a woman has to embrace that, like if you get what you wanted from a man, what you've been desiring, don't be a stickler about how he did or how it didn't go and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And I find a lot of brothers, they do this. I mean, they in their minds, they're working hard to please the woman, and then it's not enough. You know what I mean? And so sometimes you have to, put that together. So I just found that interesting. You know what I mean? It's really a lot of brothers, they go through great lengths because, men get a bad rap a lot of times, and a lot of times it is justified, but a lot of times, brothers is getting the short end of the stick, and they really following behind the woman. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. But I guess we addressed this question now. So how should a woman respond if the man isn't being emotionally available? And how should a man respond if he feels like he isn't getting respect? And can a man give a set definition of respect? Because disrespect could be seen different from others' perspectives. That's a lot to unpack there. It's a good question. But a woman, this is what we're just talking about. There's two, I gotta say it. I like these white women, man. I gotta shout them out. One name is Laura Doyle. She wrote a book called The Surrendered Wife. Okay. She wrote a book called The Surrendered Wife, and I know some of you read it, right? But in the book, she's talking about how a woman with her feminine nature, she can get the response that she needs from a man by how she acts. You know what I mean? And she will bring out of him what she needs. And sometimes she has to be selfish in her request and bringing it out and not demanding it. And sometimes women don't know how to do this. You know what I mean? They're demanding it and they're requesting and they're saying things to them and not, yeah. And the other one is Suzanne Venker. I highly suggest, you take it with a grain of salt because they're not Muslim, but they really, they address men as well too, Like Suzanne Baker just had a podcast where she was telling men 6 ways of how to, get the life back with your wife, that how we lose it. You know what I mean? 6 ways that you can, because, if you've been married a long time, sometimes intimacy takes a hit. This is a reality. Intimacy takes a hit. You're so engulfed in your regulatory duties in the marriage. And sometimes you gotta find the ways to be intimate. You know what I mean? And you gotta find the time to do it. So she has a podcast where she's doing that. But if a man isn't being emotionally available, then you have to sometimes let him be emotionally available at the time that he can, and not at the time where you feel like he should be. And this is one of the biggest headbutters that we have with men and women, that we are engaging them according to how we think they should be, and not on their own time, and not meeting them where they at. And a man, he should respond if he feel like he isn't getting respect. He should just basically say it. I feel like you don't respect me, and have these discussions and just say it. Like Laura Doyle says some things like, a woman, how way you get a man, sometimes you just express something. Oh, I wish I had this. Oh, this would be so nice if I had this pair of shoes. Instead of saying, man, you don't never buy me no shoes. My last husband bought me every type of shoes I want. My dad always had shoes. He always bought my mom shoes. And when you do comparisons, that does something to a man. But instead of just expressing what you want, because as a woman, this is what you want something from the man. You want him to deliver, and you want him to hear you. You know what I mean? But sometimes he can't hear you because of the way that you're conveying the message. And a lot of times he is shut down. So there are some things, and there's some people who are recommending some things, but if respect is very important to a man. Sometimes just hearing him out, and like for a woman, sometimes she don't really need an answer. She just needs you to listen. She already got the answer figured out. She just want to hear you validate her, because you can't really tell a woman too much, man. And then the man sometimes he just want to express himself. Damn it, Yeah, you're right, sweetie. Sometimes, don't try to give me a way to figure it out, because then that just irked the hell out of me. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to tell you that it irked me. I'm just going to internalize it, and then I'll be back. You know what I mean? I might disappear for a week. No, I'm just joking.
A week? You're going to disappear for a week to go be weak.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where Shaitan will manipulate. You let that man run away. I mentioned this one, I think last week. A man is like a cat. You chase him, he'll run away. He'll evade you. But if you leave him alone, he'll come purring at your feet. Chasing him away is with words, always at his neck about what he's doing, what he's not doing, always countering what he has to say. That one moment that you missed that he was really expressing himself, and then at the time he was a little vulnerable. It wasn't a big time. Oh, you're supposed to be a man. You just killed this whole thing. Yeah, so you got to be careful at those moments.
Can I say something to our brothers, right? We got to be careful of adopting the ways of women. That's from men. Seriously, a lot of us have adopted the ways of women. And a lot of that might have been happening being raised by women and not real men, right? So we gotta learn what is a woman and what are women qualities, and we need to avoid them seriously. And women, they have to do the same thing. What are man qualities and avoid them? I'm not a man, I'm a woman, right? And this whole thing about gender roles is an Islamic concept that genders have roles. We're not equally the same in all matters, right? So when a man is feeling he's not respected, Your religion tells you, obey the man in everything that is not unlawful. That's your religious rule, right? Listen, none of us commit sins and we know we ain't sinning. Most of us know exactly what we're doing. Very few of us commit sins that we didn't know was a sin. Most of the sins we commit, we know exactly what we're doing. So when the woman is being disrespectful to her husband, she knows it. Forget the husband. When she's being disrespectful to a man, period, she knows it. She knows she out of pocket. It ain't like she's like, oh, that was an accident. Nah, she knows exactly what she's doing. She's deliberately being disrespectful. She knows. And when a man is not being emotionally there for a woman, he knows it. And you know one of the signs? I'm famous for it. Man, that's that woman stuff. I ain't trying to hear all that. Hey, I'm famous for it. So I know I'm not being emotionally available. I'm famous for it. Man, that's that woman stuff. I'm not trying to hear all that. Take that stuff somewhere else. Like, I know it. Right? Even in the masjid, sometimes the women, because you know the women are the workers. Sometimes they start their stuff. I'll be like, hey, ho. That's that woman stuff. I ain't trying to hear it. And they be like, but that's being emotionally unavailable. And I'm just like, we got to do this. This is the rules. And I don't want to hear all that. No, you got to be emotionally available. So in the house, outside, like we know. We don't like we don't know. We know. Stop acting like we stupid. We ain't stupid. We know what we're doing. The question, are we going to rectify ourselves? That's one. And then the how. That's the challenge. Are you going to rectify yourself? Right? And then how you're going to do it. But don't tell me you don't know. Very few of us are doing stuff we don't know what we're doing. We do know. Now, overcoming your desires, overcoming your nafs, overcoming your ego, that's the struggle, right? So let's be honest with each other. And I think if we don't get nothing out this platform to learn to be honest with each other, it's a step. Stop with the mask stuff with each other. Come on, be real. Because we want you to do the right thing. That's why I need you to be real. And that's why we need to be real. You need to be real. That's reality. Ain't nobody acting like, I don't know what I'm doing. You know what you're doing. Stop. Now, are you going to stop? Are you going to fear Allah enough to stop what you're doing? And maybe you don't know how to stop because you're so used to it. You've been disrespecting men. You've been unavailable emotionally for women for a long time. So you don't know how to change. That's a totally, entirely different discussion than you don't know what you're doing. Right? You follow what I mean? What do you think, Imams?
Yeah, there's actually a secret, man, that you can get around being emotionally unavailable. But I can't say it here, you know. But it's like Billy D. Williams, man, Coke 45. Works every time. Listen, man, I told you this weekend is my 24th year being married. I picked up a few things along the way. She didn't just keep me around because she didn't just keep me around because I'm this great looking guy, you know, with all this money. You know what I mean? I'm a high value. I'm not a high value dude. You know, I'm a ninja from the slums, the ex-con, all that stuff, man. So, but I picked up a few tricks along the way. So, but that's for serious brothers only. Serious brothers. It's a secret that works every time, man. And the secret is you got to use it at the right time because at the time you need to use it is the time where you ain't going to want to use it. Is you want to do something else.
45.
What is code 45? You need to you need to log off. You don't know what that is. The safe for you. MashaAllah. But you know, this ayah from the Quran, wa min ayatihi an khalaqa lakum min anfusikum azwaja.
We joking.
Huh? Litaskunu ilayha. This is the essence of marriage and chemistry. Allah says from among his ayats is that he created from men amongst you women, you know, spouses, litaskunu ilayha. The purpose is to have tranquility in them. So just imagine someone who's similar to you, but totally opposite of you in their psychological, physiological, emotional, spiritual makeup. And the ayat or the miracle is to have sakina with this person who has different pet peeves, different red flags, different backgrounds, different standards, different values, different outlooks. And you got to try to have sakina with this person. That means, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throws, you know, gives you something. وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. Then he placed in between you love and mercy. You know, like Imam Amin and Naeem was alluding to earlier. How do we forget that our brothers, our wives, our spouses are brothers and sisters in Islam? So they have additional rights. You know, they have additional rights. They have rights as our brothers and sisters in Islam, and then they have rights and duties and responsibility as spouses that we actually have to put in work, extra work, to obtain the sakina. You know what I'm saying? And while they still over here arguing about Superman, you know what I mean? It was the point I was making. Why are we getting all, you know, Farouk, you could have came on and said it was weak, you know what I mean? But you ducking this wreck. So I'm not even listening to your comments in the joint. You talking about the analogy about Superman, Lois Lane. The fact is, these boys, he brought up, man, he loved Lois Lane. He didn't love Wonder Woman. That was the point. Wonder Woman was strong, independent, fearless. You know what I mean? He didn't try to bring her back to life. He avoided her. But he was at the Daily Planet. Whether he was Clark Kent or Superman, he was with Lois Lane. You know what I'm saying? But you know, that ayat, love and mercy, is, you know, just you know, you got to work on bending and yielding. You know, so we talk about obedience and submissiveness. Let's use another word: yielding. Yield to your husband. You know, when you had a yield sign, you stop so the other person has the right of way that they can go ahead of you. Just yield to your husband a lot, you know. And this is very, very difficult sometimes for women to do, and vice versa. Because I know in this time everything has to be like gender equality, you know. But it's not like that. There are times we're just going to be, we're going to be total opposite. And there's sometimes we're going to complement each other, and marriage is work. It's constant work of trying to, you know, and it should be where we're constantly trying to outdo each other to seek Allah's pleasure. And the seeking Allah's pleasure don't mean always we're going to be happy. You know what I mean? And that's something we have to remember. If we want Allah to be pleased with us, that doesn't mean that we are going to be happy all the time. You know what I'm saying? So it's a loving business. Here's a question. Oh yeah, this is addressed to you, Imam Naeem. So they know who to go to. They call out the genius.
Unfortunately, we are living in times where women are demanding divorce at such alarming rates. In our respective communities, why do you, as imams, leaders, there's plural. So he tagged me in it, but it's plural, so it's not just for me, right? Why do you?
That boy's a genius.
Why do you, as imams, leaders, feel as though men aren't divorcing their wives in reference to the increasing number of women? I think I know what you're asking. But the simple answer to your question, from my perspective is I don't know. But my guess is, and this is my opinion, that one of the signs of the last days is that men will imitate women and women will imitate men. Men will imitate women and women will imitate men. And in my opinion, I guess I could be completely wrong. I think that women feel like, like men, we have options, right? We can marry 4 wives. Back in the day, I'm talking about in the Muslim community, the men would divorce and, marry someone else and whatever like that. But it's different now, right? Women know about color, even though 90% of the time it's done wrong. Even brothers that do talak is done wrong most of the time nowadays. But I feel like they feel like they have options. You don't have to be married to you. There's a whole bunch of brothers in my inbox and on my stat, on my top, as they say, right? Whole bunch of brothers that will appreciate this. I don't need to put up with you no more, right? There's no shortage of brothers that will marry me. And so I feel this is part of it, uh, I don't need you. I got what they call it, an insurance policy, right? A lot of women have multiple insurance policies. They get what you call it when you get to when you have the home insurance, the auto, and you get the multi-policy discount. Women, a lot of Muslim women have multiple insurance policies, meaning multiple brothers lined up in the case in the event that you F up, right? And mess up to her could mean anything. I just don't like you no more. You don't do it for me like you used to. I'm out. I've seen a lot of situations like this over the years, more and more. Like, it's not always that the brother did something specific. It was just like, I loved you when we first got married to you. I don't even like you no more. What did I do? Nothing. I'm just not in this no more. I need a divorce. I just need to get out. I need to be free from you. I need to be away from you. Right. And then that's on to the next one. And then it just repeats the cycle again. And like I said, I believe at the base of it, because that's stuff that men, that's a blameworthy trait that men used to do. Be in a marriage, be in a relationship, they just completely turn their back on it, leave their kids, and just go away. Think about it, how, like the so-called deadbeat dad, right? How you just gonna up and turn your back on your kids and just leave? Now you see women doing the same thing, turning their back on a relationship, sometimes turning their back on the kids, just emotionally cold. How you say emotionally unavailable? I loved you then. I don't love you now. Not even sure if I like you. I love this other brother over here that's been on my inbox store, and you in the way of all of that. So you need to give me a talak, or I get this cooler, but it need to happen expeditiously, right? And so that's what I think it is. Allah knows best. We can't hear you.
We're at the almost the 2-hour mark, so we should be merciful to ourselves, to our spouses, to everyone else. Some gotta do their stuff. But before I go, I would love to Farouk in the stomach. You know what I mean? No, seriously, he got a good thing. He said, Imam Faheem Lee, you're good. I understand your point you were trying to get across. If I had a gripe to state, it would be why Imam Amin Muhammad feels it necessary to use endearing language when addressing women, but brothers get talked at. It's not an issue about being frank. It's about giving the sisters advice without the need of sweeteners. All right. I can answer that simply. Simply. I think men, honestly, it's my opinion. I think too many of our brothers act like women. And that's why I talk to brothers the way I do. I think being a man has something to it. There is some edginess to being a man, right? And I think for us, a lot of times, we let the women be in charge. When I hear a man telling, oh, she make me feel like I ain't a man. What kind of man are you? I don't know. A woman in the planet can make me feel like I'm not a man. This is my honest opinion. She may hurt my feelings. She may upset me, but make me feel like I'm not a man. She can't do that. I don't care who she is. I mean, this is men. We're men. And I don't know if you've been studying the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These were supermen, right? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had to calm their manhood down, how they look towards genders. How the Arab man, which the Prophet was from the Arabs, right? These were men, rijal. It was considered blameworthy for them to have women traits. Blameworthy. They considered it blameworthy. And why I say about men, I think a lot of us men, we're the problem of our women. Honestly, that's my honest opinion. We're the problem why our women sometimes be out of pocket because we don't know how to be men, right? And I think a lot of times they feel they gotta be men because we're not playing the role of men. That's my opinion. I could be dead wrong, but that's why I talk to men the way I talk. And I'm consistent with it. Listen, yo, man up. Man up. We have this concept, let me lay behind with the women. That was a saying in the religion. They staying behind with the women. Come on, man, we men. Get up front. Get up front. And let's not just be Facebook talkers, internet warriors. Get on the ground and man up and be a warrior. We be talking about the stuff going on in our communities, the stuff happening with our young boys, and we the biggest chumps. I hate to say it. I got to be honest. So the woman got to do it because you a chump. And I'm not speaking to any specific man. But that's how the women feel. And that's why they start talking reckless sometimes. Right? Start talking reckless because they think you're a chump. That's just my thoughts.
Oh, now you want to be a gentleman. You wasn't no, you know what I mean? You was supposed to knock that nigga out. It changes.
And I don't think a woman needs to be talked like a man. I think a woman has an appropriate speech for a woman, and there's appropriate speech for men. Don't come to me talking about some, I'm sorry, dear. Right? Don't do that. I could take it. I could give it and I could take it. I don't expect my wife to take what I take as a man. In fact, if you talk to my wife reckless as a man, I should be like, ho, you need to be talking to me like that, not her. We men. Oh, we men. We can handle that. I don't expect my wife. And that's what we should be as men. We shouldn't expect the women to talk like men. That should be disdainful to us because we're supposed to do that job. Maybe I'm old-fashioned. I don't know.
Dudes want to be talked to. Please refrain from using any further obscenities in the presence of this people. What? I got the shotgun. I'm ready to blow a hole in you, man. It's the time for soft talk. I'm warning you. I will be forced to thrash you. You.
Hey, look, Tim, we're getting violent. Hey, listen, what's that Hong Kong fooey? Hey, listen, when a man go to talking slick, he's already ready to fight. Trust me. When he start talking to you a certain way, he's already ready to fight. You already know that. That's men. You know that. He ain't going to talk slick if he ain't ready to fight. And then all you got to do is punch him in the mouth. You'll see if he's ready.
Oh, I'm not sure if I agree with you. This is 2022.
Oh, he's going to be like that dude. He's going to call the cops on you. Go ahead, punch him in the mouth. Oh, really? Nah, I'm joking. And listen, I don't want no trouble, Tenweir. I watched the video. I don't want no trouble, so don't get upset with me. All right, we got to close out, man. We do the fundraising. Didn't we get the money?
Yeah, where we at? Did we reach the goal?
Nah, we ain't get the bread, man.
Huh? We have 450. All right, who's going to top the $50 off the generous man? Farouk, you a man. Farouk, you a man. Could you top the 50 off, sir?
Yeah, somebody put some garlic on top of this bread.
We got to wait. Don't say I got it. Let that thing go bing. You know that thing go bing. Or how to go ching ching, whatever it does. Come on, Farouk, we waiting. Let me see your manhood. And then I'm going to come back and apologize to you.
وبما أنفق من أموالي.
Did it ring yet? No. Yeah, here's where the men should be up front. The men should be out there. You're the providers. We're trying to do something. We're benefiting each other, really. All you got to do is look at the people who attend regularly. Farouk, send it. Farouk, I apologize for everything I said to you. We kindly appreciate all your donations. And I tell you, if I ever don't talk to women like they deserve to be talked to, then you can correct me anytime as long as you're donating. But when you stop donating, I'm going to talk to you very slick. I love y'all. Wallahi, I love y'all so much. And this is my time to relax. In the morning, I got to be Imam Amin, and I got to talk the knowledge and books. Here I get to be Brother Amin, and I love it. I appreciate it. That's my closing statements.
Okay.
I'm still waiting for the cha-ching.
He did it. I said he did it already.
We did it?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't hear it.
You didn't hear him? He said, never test the champion.
I didn't hear it.
You ain't hear him?
Nah. Don't count till I hear it.
Never test the champion.
Abdullah. Who closing out? Imam Faheem?
You're only talking about $50 now. If we talk about 500, it might change.
Boy, you got a genius.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. May Allah reward all of you for taking your time and building, elaborating, and sharing your experiences and opinions and feelings and sentiments on everything that we discussed. Alhamdulillah, we're going to be talking about this more because we're trying to heal. None of us are perfect. We're trying to improve. And so, you know, the feedback, the engagement, the conversation, whether we agree on this or that, or we don't agree, it's all good and it's beneficial. And we love you for it. And we love it when you keep it real with us. You know, we don't have foreign accents here. We speak how we speak, right? Alhamdulillah. And, you know, not only does Imam Amin love you, but we also love you as well. And we know you love us because you wouldn't be here if you wasn't. Well, alhamdulillah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase us in shukr or gratitude. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, La in shakartum la azidanakum. If you are grateful in a thing, Allah will increase you in it. Those of us who have loved ones, who have spouses, may Allah make us grateful for them. Or Allah make us grateful for our spouses. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us thankful for this brotherhood that we've created and we're trying to increase and maintain. The 3453 family, the Shehu family, all of us, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us grateful for this brotherhood. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase us in knowledge. Rabbana zidna ilma. May Allah increase us in knowledge. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also increase us in the practice and application of that knowledge. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bind our hearts together and increase the love amongst us. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wastaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.